Hello, everyone, and welcome to me dunking on a moron. Uh, so this is Tactical Templar, famous broke bitch. Apparently, he's got devils for views. This is funny because this creature larps as a Christian. Now, I recognize it for the subhuman filth that it is. Its sub-Haitian IQ is very prevalent, mind you. But other people might pretend that it isn't, right? We all know it's not human, right? We all know it's beneath us all. But we pretend otherwise because it gives us entertainment value. Not a lot, mind you. We don't get entertainment value in a positive way for this creature either, right? We get entertainment value off of its suffering, right? Like, this is a creature which weasels all its fucking words. You will see when I play this video, right? This creature is suffering. It is dying in a very slow, painful demise. Okay? This isn't the creature. This is Alex Jones in a armor suit that someone poorly photoshopped around him.
Born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species.
This is funny because you can tell that the guy is fat when he speaks. So he's LARPing as a guy that exercises when he clearly doesn't. I can hear the lard in your voice. My guy, I can hear that you are a mountain of lipids, okay? You weigh 600 pounds. Lose some weight first, then talk about exercise.
We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God, and you want to build a
Yeah, this is the funny shit, right? He's talking about Warhammer 40k in Christianity. Warhammer 40k is the most fur fag fucking shit ever, right? Like what's the most popular Warhammer video? Let's just search Warhammer 40k. 40k, right? You know, we've got a few of these, right? But let's filter by view count. Okay, let's filter by view count. So we've got, you know, we've got a few like official teasers, right? You know, and then we've got some lore explained, right, by Bricky, who is a known furry. So that should so the first fan that comes up is a furry, all right. Second fan. First fan is also a furry, but it's it's easier to prove Bricky. It's harder to prove this guy because I don't know who the fuck that is. They haven't been relevant for a while, as you can probably tell. Yeah, game trailers, right? But here's the fun little fact, right? Go down a bit, right? We get flash gits, right? Now flash gits, for those who don't know, are famous for this series of furry porn cartoons called Furry Crusades, right? Which is a bunch of videos making fun of anti-furs by posting that the only way that they can win is in a gay furry cartoon. This is the most hilarious thing. Like, they literally, the furries are LARPing the victory of the Warhammer crowd as a joke on how pathetic it is. Like they even point this out, by the way, in like it was their official channel, Tom and Don or whatever it is. They not have it linked. What the fuck? Yeah, Tom and Don. Where is it? Yeah, Tom and Don. Right. So their first video on this channel talks about this. Or not first video. Where's the fucking subscriber video? Hey, here we go. Their entire fandom, which is the Warhammer 40k fandom, mind you. So the Warhammer 40k fandom, right? This is the Warhammer 40k fandom.
We did it! We did it!
Like pretty much every Warhammer 40k fan is a subscriber to this channel. But also, every Warhammer 40k fan has something else in common.
Is thriving, and to celebrate, we decided to spice things up a little bit with a fun challenge.
If Mr. Beast can count to 100,000, then surely we can do 100,000 drawings of our new subscribers.
That's 100,000 drawings in 2 weeks.
14 days, 14 hours a day.
11,760 minutes.
8.5 seconds per drawing, but there are 2 of us, so that makes it 17 seconds each.
I know it sounds impossible, and it most likely is, but we're serious. We've got our snacks, we've got our giant jugs of water, and we're ready to go. So let's get after it.
All right, put the first subscriber on screen.
Right, like this is the funniest shit, right? They know. They know. Right? See, this is the thing. Normie channels become normie for these fandoms become normies because they're normal, right? These are the average Joe fans, right? So like, let's see.
These are all at random. That wasn't me.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. I like how he draws testicles at first. That's another way you know, like they're constantly making sex jokes. Like it's pretty obvious that these guys would be furries. Like some of the crowd, like Archcast is probably not as obvious at first, but I mean he's pretty openly a brony / furry now, so.
Okay, next.
Yeah.
No, I'm not drawing another fucking furry. Next. I'm actually not going to draw another furry. Next.
Yeah. Yes, the joke is all 100,000 of their subscribers are furries. Now, obviously, a lot of those pictures are meme pictures. Like the one with the pink guy is notorious as a meme, as well as the one right before it. This purple one. Some of these are not necessarily meme-ish. Like the green one, the purple one, and this pink one on the bottom right are memes. The red one, the green one, and the top right blue one are not. The top middle blue one is pretty easy to find. The one on the right, these guys are definitely gooners to furries. It's like how the only way you can describe this one. And by the way, the reason why furries and lollies are so prevalent on the internet these days is because it's fun and it makes money. I have now explained the entire thing about lollies and furries. It's kind of a grift, but also not, because you enjoy doing it, right? Like it is for money at first, usually with a lot of people, but then it just becomes, hey, this is just fun. Right? Like the early furries, it was just for fun. Then it became for money and then for fun. Like I was back when it was still just for fun. But then it quickly became my job because, it's good money. And by the way, this guy who doesn't know anyone important, I have the president in my pockets. Donald Trump is a furry. Elon Musk is a furry. I don't like Elon Musk, and I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. I'm not really an enemy of Trump, to be fair. I hate Elon Musk, but the reasons I hate Elon Musk have nothing to do with Doge, and more to do with the things surrounding... he's a pedophile, let's just say that. I don't like that kind of crowd, right? But he is in the fandom, and he has commissioned some friends of mine. I will not name their names, but there are people who are big in the fandom, who are prominent right-wing figures. Another one is, of course, Rags. I mean, he's not really right-wing, but people call him that, so there you go. Milo Yiannopoulos, and by proxy, Nick Fuentes, right? Two big rich dudes as well. Asmongold, although he's not really a furry himself, but he's adjacent to the fandom. Like Pippa, right? Pipkin Pippa is a well-known furry. Used to have a moth persona. I actually met her in a couple Discords before she started doing VTubing. We've also got prominent neurosurgeons like Dr. Axie or Draxie, as you may know him, right? Like, there are people who are extremely big names in our fandom who you might not know, but some of them have saved lives. Some of them have converted people to Christ. Something you have failed to do, by the way. No one has converted to Christ because of you, right? That's another thing, right? I don't really care about the Christian LARPing really that much. It doesn't offend me. But if you're going to pretend to be a Christian to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not giving up my soul. My dude, you're grifting. You have none to begin with. Right? You're not as rich as the other grifters because their grift is more successful, right? It's more successful to grift off fun than it is morals, right? Morals, as it turns out, are the worst grift of all time. The quartering grift only has about 1% of the people actually make money from it. The horny grift, 100%, and they all love it, right? The only way you lose money out in the horny grift is if you just are a fucking piece of shit, right? Just abhorrent piece of shit. That's the only way to lose it out on that. And they will put up with a lot of shittery before that, right? Like, Jason Effects still makes money. Everyone knows how shitty that guy is. Like, he is notorious. He's got a Kiwi Farms article that rivals fucking Darkside Phil. And yet, right? And yet, so that should be a bit of a bit of a thing to say, you know?
Satanism, they want us shut down because we have the spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth. And
I love how he speaks in anime.
knows it.
The other day we had planned to do some more dildo trick shots since it had been way too long since we got out there in the old crucible and tossed some dildos around, making some stunts out of it. But what ended up happening is we just started playing with
I love how, like, the transition is strictly from that to Critical just joking about the funniest shit ever.
dildos and did everything but trick shot. Like, we were closer to sticking the dildos up our asshole.
Ladies and gentlemen.
No. Put him back. He was funny. Where the fuck? Now I gotta listen to Nasalnort. What the fuck?
There is something profoundly broken and just genuinely disgusting about streamer culture.
No, there's something broken and genuinely disgusting about your fucking voice. Get a fucking better voice tube, you fucking fat ass fuck. Or lose some weight, then you'll probably, like, sound like a normal human being instead of, like, you're choking on your own neck.
I find that the more as time goes
Like, you know what I'm saying, right? He sounds like he's choking on his own neck flesh. He's so fucking fat.
on, the more I'm certain of this, and the more hardened I get in my ways. You see,
I need to try to see if I can do that, right? Like, with my fleshy body, right? Hey everyone. I can't do it. I can't do the half nasal thing. I either do full nasal or my normal voice, right? This guy is unhealthy. I'm not even that healthy, and I'm more healthy than this guy. I also have a very, like, salivated voice. That's because I drink a lot of water, you know? It turns out that that's all I need to do.
because I've never liked streamer culture. There's always been something about it that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, you know what rubbed you the wrong way? That they had sex and you didn't.
The phoniness that's revealed almost all the time.
Yeah, of course it's phony. The point is to entertain you, you fucking dildo brain. You are mad that these guys are funny. and that people like them because they are funny. You are jealous that their sense of humor is better than yours, right? But you should recognize that, right? You should, instead of being mad at that, you should admire that. Like you do with the Alex Jones clips. Alex Jones is way funnier than you'll ever be. Somewhat unintentionally, but still some intentionally too. And that's the funny thing about this, right? Your most important and your most entertaining parts of your videos are when you are not speaking, right? Everything else in your videos are good. You could just clip compilation good people's stuff. Like the Alex Jones intro is fucking 10 out of 10, right? In this video, like until you paused it to fucking ruin it with your piece of shit fucking voice, right? Where I can hear the obesity coming from it. Until that happened, I was entertained, right? So from a minute, from 0 to like a minute, let's see. I'd say a minute 16, right?
My ways.
Nope, wait.
Culture.
Our asshole.
So a minute and 2, right? So up until a minute and 2 seconds, this video is perfectly entertaining.
He gets disgruntled and they do a full video saying, oh, this person is like this, and then it's collabed with another group of people. And the perception that they put out into the world is very, very rarely what is genuine, authentic, and true.
Why? That's not fun. Like that. Like ultimately, you have to recognize that. Critical likes having fun. He's a gamer, right? Did you know that Critical is a gamer? Someone who plays video games to have himself be entertained? Yeah, he doesn't like games that preach at him. In fact, like he's part of an entire movement against that. It's called the gamer movement, right? People have tried to co-opt it with politics by calling it the anti-woke movement. And since then, we have had a lot of infighting and problems. But Charlie is a gamer. He doesn't care about politics. He cares about fun. If a game is fun, he will play it, and he will enjoy it. Now, if a game is not fun, right, he will shit on it. Because that's what he cares about. He's a gamer. He plays video games for having fun. A game can be as woke as it wants, if it's like Cult of the Lamb or Nightmare Cart, and he'll like it. But a game can also be woke and he'll find it boring. For example, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That game was a piece of shit, and he reviewed it as such, right? And even apolitical games such as Dragon's Dogma 2, he fucking hates that piece of shit. It didn't even run on his computer. The hardest boss in that game was the main fucking menu, right? The hardest boss in gaming history. Is it the final boss of Elden Ring? No, it's the fucking main menu of Dragon's Dogma 2. So yeah, he doesn't like it when a game is fucking broken. Even though he loves the genre of Souls-likes. Like half his fucking videos are Souls-likes of games that he plays. Like Anoitra, Elden Ring, all the Souls games, etc., right? Fucking Remnant and Remnant 1 and 2, right? He plays a lot of Souls-likes. So he clearly likes them. So it's not even that the game was bad. It was so broken and unplayable, he couldn't fucking stand it. And then, of course, Stuttering Protocol. He didn't like that. That was a good game once it fucking played. But he didn't really care to fucking review it like that. It fucking sucked, right? Nothing was political about that or the other one. He loved, another thing, he loved an anti-woke game. What is it? Fucking Hogwarts Legacy. He had a pretty good review on it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he did. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, people enjoy games for fun, right? Ready or Not was another one I'm pretty sure I remember he played. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I actually don't know if he played that one. I gotta look up in his archives. But anyway, those are like the things. He plays games for fun, not for politics. So if a game is woke or not woke or anti-woke, he views it on the metric of, is this fun? If he's bored, he doesn't like it. If he's entertained, he likes it. He'll play shitty fucking horror games that he knows are shit, But because they have some mild amusements and speed runs and shit he can do, he finds entertainment value in just that. So this is ultimately the reason you lose to this crowd. He is selling fun. You are selling morals, right? Now the difference between fun and morals, fun has inherent value, right? If people find things interesting, they will enjoy them, and that gives it value, right? So it's inherently valuable to be fun. Morals do not have inherent value in that unless someone agrees with your morals, right? They have no value on their own. Now you might be saying, well, what about fun? Well, the thing about fun is that it's contagious, right? Morals are not contagious. You need to convince people of morals. You don't need to convince people of fun. Just have fun. And if people think what you're doing is fun while watching it, they will do it too. Because as it turns out, a smile is very contagious. That's why so many people are turning into these gooners and furries and fun lovers and porn addicts and whatever term you want to use, right? The reason why is because that fun is addicting. You know why that fun is addicting? Because it gives you the happy chemicals. The happy chemical called dopamine. That's necessary in a time of economic crisis, which is why it's even further inflated after the COVID outbreak, right? Now a lot more people are, into these things than there used to be. And the reason is because people couldn't have fun outside, so they had fun inside. And what was the best way to have fun inside? Watching these guys. And now you can have fun outside again, but people are having it less. Because now the people who are outside are fucking dangerous, and the people inside are having fun still. So that's kind of the thing. People are spending more time indoors. Brick and mortar stores are going bankrupt. Whether they had DEI before, they were going bankrupt. Now they're going bankrupt even faster without DEI. Because it turns out that, these companies really were on the brink of extinction once COVID happened and they shut their doors down. And no one was allowed to have fun in stores anymore. Yeah. Walmart and Target are going out of business. Yeah, like even after the DEI abandonment, they're still going out of business.
And I find that you can tell who these people are by how desperate they are to get into a group or to collab or to be part of something rather than just going it alone.
They have friends. This is like the translation from what Nasalnort is saying to English. He's mad that they have friends. I just translated it for you.
And I'll give you an example.
Do you need a free, easy way to capture your game?
Oh wow, the video got good again. Sorry, I didn't mean to have good content on my screen. I'm watching an obnoxious grifter. Where's the fucking mouse? Oh, there we go. Clicky offy.
I started my channel. I didn't have anyone. There was no network. And you know what? Even to this day, there's no network.
That's because you're fucking boring, my guy. Like, if you have no friends, that's your fault. And if the road leads you to no friends, of what use was that rule? Right? Like, okay, so you have no friends after years of work. Because networking is just friends, just so you know, right? So you had no friends to start with, and you have no friends now. Now, what that would imply to a reasonable person is that you are an obnoxious fucking loser, and nobody likes you because you're a cunt, right? That's what a reasonable person would affirm.
I've never tried to network with these content creators. I've never tried to get into their good graces or have them invite me on shows. And in fact, I've had certain opportunities where people have reached out and I've had to say, no, I just don't do that.
Right, so you don't have friends. That second part is a lie, obviously. You would if you had friends, like if you have people wanting to network with you, you have friends. If you have friends, you have a network. So either you're friendless or you have been networking. Now, this is the funny thing, right? I am trapping you in your lie, right? See, either you have to admit that you're a piece of shit who nobody likes because you're a piece of shit, or you have to say that you actually do network and you're a lying piece of shit who pretends to not network because he thinks that people will give him more props if he acts like he's a loser. Either whether the Nasalnort voice is an act or not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make fun of you anyway. If it's a character, like Az puts on a character, everyone knows that the whole pronoun shit, no one really fucking cares that much about first grade English. We get it. We got that it was an act, right? Everyone got that it was an act, and that he was actually using that as a segue into the fact that the game was fucking boring and had nothing to do. But they apparently said, oh, well, it'll cover up the fact that this game is a boring piece of shit. Pronouns, first grade English, right? Because that's really what the point of it was that there was nothing to the game except for the pronouns for the fucking woke crowd, and that was it. And remember, Bethesda games used to be pretty good. So, this is a fucking downhill, right? It's the same thing with Avowed, downhill. Avowed was made by a competent studio. The game developers have made plenty of bangers in my lifetime, right? We've had, so many good games from them, and then they made this shit. Right? So, ultimately, it's not that they can't make a good game, it's that they chose not to. Probably on purpose. Now, knowing how the execs of many of these companies are pedophiles, I actually don't care. They probably did. What probably happened was the developers undermined their bosses because they were getting paid anyway, and we're like, well, hey, look, they're gonna lose money on this piece of shit, and they fuck kids, so and we're gonna get fired whether we do a good job or not in many of cases. So let's send off with them losing a ton of money, and so they did. I applaud them for that. They did a good job. The game was very shitty, but I can tell the intent was to get the execs that fuck kids out of the way. So hopefully they succeed in that, and the execs actually go bankrupt this fucking time. But yeah, it actually seems like it's not doing so well on that plan because the game's getting middling, but not complete bombing sales, which kind of sucks, to be honest.
Because I'm not interested.
Especially considering how fucking boring that game was. They made a masterpiece of mid. If I am correct and they just chose to make the most mid shit ever, that game is a masterclass in how to be as mid as humanly possible. There's nothing objectively wrong with Avowed. There's just nothing right about it either, right? It's just, there is nothing going for it. There's just nothing wrong either. I can't say anything is truly wrong about Avowed. I just can't find anything right? A good way to say this, right? I fucking loathe Umbrella Chronicles, right? Not Umbrella Corps. Sorry, I almost badmouthed the fucking masterpiece of a real shooter. Sorry, guys. Umbrella Corps, right? I fucking loathe that piece of shit. I have it, though. I can say some of the things it did right. It's a bit goofy, and it definitely doesn't fit Resident Evil. But it can be a little fun if all you care about is fucking having a goofy time playing Hunk. It's a piece of shit, but I can find some redeeming qualities on it. But ultimately, it's far smellier of a turd. It's a shiny turd, whereas, Avowed isn't a turd, it's just, a white piece of paper, right? You are looking at the most bland, inoffensive thing ever, but it's somehow worse than the piece of shit. At least the piece of shit would have a funny smell, right? You would be able to observe the shit and for what it is and avoid wasting your money on it. But Avowed, apparently, it's not making money right away, but it might make money because enough people are playing it. And that kind of sucks, because I don't really like the game. It is incredibly mid. But yeah.
I have a good thing going. I'm building this channel up brick by brick with...
You're not building it brick by brick. What? I'm sorry, did I run into the DIY housing committee? Like, there are plenty of channels that do cool shit like that, by the way. Actually, let me show you. Like, there is a brick by brick doing your house and stuff. So let's see, DIY housing. Right, so, yeah, like, look at this, right? There's little things on how to, like, there's videos on it, and then there's, like, remodeling your bathroom and shit. Like, there are tutorials on this shit. Like here's the thing. Like, I didn't even know shit about plumbing last year, right? And they fixed my girlfriend's, well, now ex-girlfriend's, my current girlfriend I still have. This was an ex that I had last year. DIY, what was it? Kitchen sink plumbing, right? So I did some plumbing, right? Our sink was nasty, right? It was filled with a bunch of nasty shit. So I had to look up this, and I fixed our sink. Our sink had no water. I followed these instructions and fixed it. So, like, that was a cool little thing. I learned something important, and it took me about 10 minutes. I'm going to learn nothing in this whole hour, by the way. This video is just a waste of time.
The only thing that matters to me. The only thing that matters is, am I making content that I think is up to a certain standard for my audience?
You mean down to a certain... Like, here's the thing, right? Your content isn't entertaining, and you aren't preaching morals that people agree with. Right? So your content is worthless for the most part. I bet you most people just shit on you when they go home. That's another thing. Also, yeah, you got Nero Caesar, but without the extra N on your name. For those that don't know, the number 616 is Nero Caesar's name in Greece, where the way it was spelled was Nronqsr for Neron Kaiser, right? In Hebrew, that's Nero Kaiser, right? So they take off the extra N. And so in Greece, which is what the New Testament was written in, it was 666. In Hebrew, it was 616. And the reason for that is because Nero Caesar was the one they were calling that. In fact, you can actually look this up in history books. Nero Caesar's nickname after a genocide of Christians and Jews circa like the 30s when the book was written it was a fucking fires of Rome, right? And he was called the Beast by many people because of that. So yeah, the number of the beast refers to the guy that was called the Beast that was currently genociding Christians and Jews at the time. Yeah, you should probably reckon, as in fear, the number of the beast, which was the name Neron Caesar. Or Neron Kaiser. Like, it was pronounced Kaiser back then, is another thing. Like, Caesar is more of a like modern accent to it. So yeah, also Caesar was a title back then, like it wasn't like a name. A lot of kings did have bloodline lineages, but that's not really true for back then.
But a lot of these people don't give a shit.
A lot. None of them give a shit. That's why they're making money and you aren't.
Want raw numbers, but they don't care if those numbers are coming from people who are like Hassan fans that are just genuinely retarded, degenerate streamers.
Well, yeah, of course not. Why would they? You know what I mean? Like, why would anyone care if Hassan wants to watch them or not? Right? Here's the funny little thing, right? If you can convince Hassan fans that the right is good, then you've done a good job, right? And the funny thing is, you're claiming to be Christian. The entire point of Christianity is to evangelize. That is to spread the word of the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Did you know that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, and God sent his only begotten Son to die for your sins? And I can name them. Like, you have committed the sin of sloth. That's why your voice sounds so decrepit and ugly. Because you are lazy and you don't do the hard work that you need to do to survive. So your soul has been etched with the fires of your sins. That's why your body has been morphed and twisted into this disgusting abomination of flesh. See, like, I can do it because I am. I don't talk about Christianity that much on this channel, but I am very much a devout Christian. I pray every night. I go to church, not every Sunday, most Sundays. I know pretty much a pretty good portion of the Bible. I know how to critique the Bible both as an atheist and as a Christian again, because I used to be an atheist at one point. So I know how to critique it for the negative and the affirmative. I know a lot of things. And you know why I learned them because instead of doing what you did and just assuming I knew all the answers already to life, the universe, and everything, I went out and learned them, right? So I took up Bible study classes. I took up Blender classes for art. I took up, like programming classes. I took up game design classes. I took up all that shit. I know a lot of shit you will never know. I know AI development. I know AI training. I've trained my own AI models, right? In fact, my icon is based off of a model I trained off my persona, off my own art that I made in 3D because I used to do it in Blender before I started working with AI. And I still do it primarily in Blender. I can choose not to now. That is the entire thing about me, right? I know Houdini, I know Maya, I know Blender, I know ZBrush. Those are some art programs I know, right? I know Substance Painter and Designer. I used to be a master at Substance Designer. I could fucking program a texture so well, you thought I was a fucking, like, Michelangelo with my fucking painting skills, but I really just programmed the whole fucking thing with some nodes. That was how fucking good I was. I was like fucking Gucci. And then I fucking got the fucking shit kicked out of me and lost half my fucking brain cells. Like, that was a little sad sob story. I used to be a lot smarter, but I actually literally have brain damage. I'm not like most retards like this guy, where I'm just a loser who never did anything important in his life. I legit just had my brain cells kicked out of me. When I was a kid, I had a GIS technician position. I had a position, right, which would net me millions of dollars. When I was a kid, by the way, one thing I used to do a lot was soup kitchen. You know what that is? So that's when you convert people to Christ by feeding the homeless food and then telling you what church sent you. Like, I have converted far more people to Christ than you have, my dude, when I was thinking I was an atheist and I was an edgy teenager. But I still, like, did things for the church because I liked the people there. And it was fun. I just didn't agree with the whole God thing at the time. Yeah, it was a bit delulu. But yeah. So you're saying this shit. I am far better at bringing people to Christ than you. You have lost to gay furries in streaming, you have lost to gay furries in gaming, and you have lost to gay furries in converting people to Christianity. How sad must you be? Right. I know the Bible says not to judge. And I'm not judging you. I'm making fun of you, though.
They're obsessed with money, they're obsessed with fame, they're obsessed with clout, and they'll even debase and degrade themselves by doing videos playing with dildos.
Or they just don't care, they like it, or they have fun with it. This is the funny thing, right? Critical might just be bisexual. Like, he might just like dildos in his butt and doesn't care what people think about that. Or he might just think it's funny. Like, a lot of, like, here's a funny thing. Did you know that a lot of kids will look at, like, poop jokes and dick jokes and think they're ha-ha hilarious? Right? Did you know that? Like, the target audience for Hazbin Hotel is all adults. Yet 90% of the fan base is 13-year-old kids, right? It's not targeted towards them. It's not advertised towards them. None of it is meant to be for 13-year-old kids, but 13-year-old kids flock to that. Have you ever wondered why, right? Why kids flock to the edgy sex joke cartoon that is totally not for them? It's almost as if, like, when I was a kid, we watched South Park make, shit jokes all day long, right? It's almost as if the teenagers were never, like, that sex averse ever. And the whole thing about grooming really is, are they fucking kids? If they're not, it's not really a problem. Is ultimately the thing. The only people who have complained about grooming are groomers. And I feel like that needs to be said. Anyone who complains about grooming without full-on pedophilia is a child molester. They'll just call you Molestro from now on. I already found you a new nickname. I was calling you Voldy Snort. It was not Nasalnort. That's what I was calling you. Now I'm calling you Molestro. Okay.
Coming on stream and humiliating themselves by talking, oh, hey guys, most critical here. I was closer to shoving the dildo up my ass than actually doing the Adventure Time. It's so clear to me that there is a phoniness epidemic.
It's not phony. He likes dildos. Like, what's phony about that? They're funny. They're little rubber little tubes. They have veins on them. They're kind of thick. Like, ultimately, the shape of a penis is actually kind of hot. Like, once you think about it, it's like, it's a little vein on there, right? And it's like a little tube, right? And it pumps up and down. And, the more it pumps, the bigger it gets. It's got a little mushroom on the top of it. And then some of them even have like a bunch of flesh covering them. It's like a little like tube on top of the tube, and like fleshy thing that goes, like, the one flesh gets bigger, the other flesh gets smaller, and they keep squirting out little funny plap sounds when they go in the pussy, right? You can't look at that and not think it's funny or hot. Like ultimately, people find things you find gross sexy. There's more appeal in a penis than there is in a blob. I'm just saying. But there are people who find blobs sexy. You know what you need to do? You need to hit up Pyrocynical. I'm sure he will love to fuck you. Like, he loves fat thing. He loves fat chicks. He loves fat bitches, right? And he loves fat dudes. He has an inflation fetish, right? He loves fat people. I'm sure if you ask Pyrocynical nicely, he will get him and his girlfriend to fuck you in the ass. It will also solve all your problems. You will feel a lot better.
It comes to streamers. And my issue today, actually, I have two videos that I want to go over, but one I'm going to do very briefly. Tectone did a video called My 3-Year Experience with OTK, where he essentially revealed a lot of the behind-the-scenes goings-on about OTK. And I gotta tell you, I don't know if this was his intention, but it sounded absolutely horrible. It sounded horrible.
I mean, it can't be sound as horrible as your voice, so can we get to the fucking program then?
I would not wish that on my worst enemy, including Tectone being invited to a 1-year anniversary party for OTK, and it just being filled with a bunch of clout goblin, virtue signaling, just, hey, let's network type of people. Oh my god. I almost had to, I had to prevent myself from gagging. I can't imagine a more horrific scenario or situation. I don't blame Asmongold for being like, yeah, you know what, you want to drop me, you want to get rid of me, fine, have at it. I can't imagine a more insufferable experience than a bunch of these people in the same room. I would.
Man, this guy is so fucking retarded. Oh, hey, look, it's a George Floyd soy jack. Right? Like, that's George Floyd, right? Like, that's supposed to be George Floyd soy jack. Wow, I found something funny in this video. Again, it's not him, but like I found like this is interesting, right? This Exodia shirt is also kind of cool, right? Creeper statue. Oh, a kitty! It's reading the manga. Oh, don't look at the red ones. Those are probably hentai. You're probably gonna get addicted into furry porn. It's probably Beastars or some shit. You know? Okay. So I'm noticing that he's a massive gooner. And that he doesn't care about like edgy humor or anything. So he doesn't agree with you just off that. But hey, simp for him all you want, I guess.
Would not do well. I just gotta say, I would not do well. Because I'd go in there and I'd tell all those people what I really think of them.
Yeah, that's why you're not invited, because you're fucking boring. Like ultimately, you're the kind of you're a fucking Karen. You know what you are? I'm actually gonna end the video right here because I'm fucking bored of this shit already. Like he keeps fucking skipping the fucking fun parts and making it so I have to listen to fucking like some fucking demonic creature cast spells at me. Like I'm gonna fall down the boring. That's what you sound like, fucking dumbass. All right, sorry. Where was it? Oh yeah, Karen. You know what, let me do like an epic Karen. Final boss Karen. We have to do final boss Karen. There we go.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
He apologized.
It's my fault.
He apologized.
Yeah, I know.
And you know what? That didn't upset me. But the
Sorry.
that told me to calm down. What I'd like you to do is.
Okay.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
He
It's my
It's a fucking sloth from the Goonies. Oh man, these guys don't know the actual thing. This is oh no, this person does, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is like she looks like the villain from Who Framed Roger Rabbit's Doom.
Apologized.
Judge Doom.
He
Doesn't she?
yeah, I know.
And you know what? That didn't upset me. But the
Sorry.
that told me to calm down. What I'd like you to do is.
Alright, I gotta go. I entertained myself in a grifter video, so see ya.